as a 90s kid, I owe a lot to X-Files. X-Files basically got me interested in the sci-fi genre, a genre that up to that point I really didn't care that much about. There was a sci-fi channel back in the day. Of course, there's HBO and all of that, but I was a kid. Um, the thing that really caught me, because I watch Fox all the time, Fox Kids and so forth like that. And of course, I'd watch a lot of Fox programming. So I didn't have a lot of, I don't know, cable television to really watch back when I was a kid. Now, I know many of y'all did, and many of y'all been introduced to other, shows along the way that really got y'all interested in this. Different genres, including the sci-fi genre. But me, it was X Files. Like me, it was Fox. I always loved Mulder and Scully. Like I thought they were a great pair. I thought each week they had something interesting going on. Do I feel like maybe, just maybe, it lasted a little too long? Yeah, I kind of do. I feel like it was one of those shows that really didn't have a proper ending to it. One that I guess I felt satisfied with. And of course, they tried to bring it back. And I don't know if that was really much of a success. I didn't really watch it. But I will say, from what I know of it, and from its original run, I kind of felt like it was the best it could be. It didn't end the way I wanted it to, but it was the best that it could be for that situation, for that time. I think it was above anything and everything when it even come to this, like, cop genre. When it come to two detectives, I felt like, Mulder and Scully were at the top of the line. I know it wasn't your normal, cop show, but I kind of always felt like they were the best partners on television at that time. And I still believe that to this day. But apparently, and I never can pronounce her name, Gillian Anderson or Gillian Anderson. So forgive me if I butcher the name. Totally don't know it. But it says she would only consider a return to the X Files if a whole new set of writers could make it feel like it was new and progressive. And when I heard this, I thought, ooh, progressive. I don't know if I necessarily like that because that normally means that it would get woke and it probably wouldn't be any good at that point. But let me read this article and I kind of see where she's coming from in a lot of different ways. I still disagree with her in a lot of ways, and I don't hold out much hope for an X Files reunion anytime soon. Not that I would really want one to begin with. I feel like it's almost kind of like Supernatural. Like, I love Supernatural. I felt like it ended terribly. But for them to just go back and just be like, oh, well, we're actually doing another season of it, I'd be like, it had its run. It was good. Didn't like the ending to it, but hey, it is what it is. You just got to take the good with the bad. That's the way I feel towards it. But, anyways, let's go ahead and let's read this article. It says, speaking to the idea of possible return to the sci fi mystery series X Files, Gillian Anderson recently made it clear that such a production was highly unlikely unless a whole new set of writers could be brought in to make the story feel like it was new and progressive. Reflecting on her time as the crimson haired detective, Anderson began on the subject by telling Variety reporter Minori Ravindran that though she saw a stark difference between Scully's character and pretty much everything else on television at the time, she didn't think it was clear cut in my mind as being, oh, this is a feminist character, because it doesn't need to be. You don't need to be a feminist character. You just need to be a person. I like that kind of drives me crazy as someone who has a son and a daughter. You're just a person. You're just a person. Just be who you are. Don't think about feminism or masculinity or any of those things. You like what you like, you don't like what you like. You are who you are. You're not who you're not. Don't worry about that junk. Like, I feel like society just screws with people's brains when it comes to that. And they feel like they gotta, like, women have to be some kind of feminist icon. No, you don't. You just gotta be a great actress. That's it. That I mean, don't put more pressure on yourself to be something that you don't have to be. And you're good as you are. Um, and she goes on to state, I think that it was more of just this is a woman that I haven't seen before on television, and she's so unique. Reflected the actress, and I agree totally with that. However, according to Anderson, her character standing as a fully fleshed out female character did not prevent sexist behaviors from running rampant behind the scenes. I was expected to walk behind co star David Duchovny when our characters walked up to the front door of the people we were investigating. She explained to Raven Dran, there were things that I rebelled against. Now, this is just me. Um, and I remember from that time, David Duchovny was a far more interesting character in a lot of different ways. And I'm not saying anything bad against Scully or Gillian Anderson or any of that. I'm just saying um, I totally understand why he would be in the forefront because at that time he was a bigger actor. He still is. So you're not going to have somebody being like, "Let's walk and step to this door every single time." So I don't know if that's necessarily sexist, but you know what? If she took it that way, then it is what it is. Um, but I mean, me personally, I feel like if she was a bigger, like if she was the name of the franchise, I feel that everybody looked to the she was a bigger actress than he was actor at that time. I feel like maybe the roles would have been a little reversed simply because of ratings, because it'd be who they're trying to push to the forefront. Next, asked by Raven Dran, if she had any interest in returning to the franchise following the series' two-season conclusion across 2016 and 2018. Anderson admitted to the Variety Reporter, it just feels like such an old idea, which I kind of agree on it. I've done it. I did it for so many years, and it also ended on such an unfortunate note. She added, referencing the season 11 finale reveal that Scully was mysteriously pregnant with her and Mulder's child. In order to even begin to have the conversation about another season, there would need to be a whole new set of writers, and the baton would need to be handed on for it to feel like it was new and progressive, she declared. So, yeah, it's very much the past. Um, so that's basically a no. She's not coming back. This series isn't coming back, and this series doesn't need to come back. I totally get it. Everything sucks now. I just did a video over Halo series. A lot of fans are pissed about that. They're pissed about it because they don't feel like Hollywood listens to them or cares about them or understands why that premise is popular. I totally understand that. But that being said, just because everything sucks now doesn't mean that we got to bring everything that we loved back in the 90s or the 80s or whatever and, make it suck too. Because what people forget about this is anytime that you take, I mean, the Halo series, I feel like right now it's the thing that everybody's paying attention to. Um, the Halo series really encounters the same problems that an X Files in 2022 would face, and that the writers and the producers and the directors and the studios would take the name and the name only. That's all you would be getting. You'd be getting the name and something that looks so completely different that you wouldn't want to watch it. It would be a bastardization of the thing that you once loved. And does anybody really want that? Yes, we call for these things. Yes, you take like King of the Hill reboot or Futurama reboot. You think all these things are going to be great, but then by 2022 standards, you're like, wow, it wasn't as great as the original. Probably because the original was in a different time, a time where they actually had good writers, a time when it wasn't political activists writing and producing, and really studios trying to push agendas. It was just people trying to make money. And that's the one thing about capitalism. In capitalism, the ones that are successful are the ones who pander to the people watching. And that's unfortunately not what Hollywood does now. They don't mind going broke. The government will bail them out. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. As long as they get a bunch of likes on Twitter, they don't care. So, I mean, when I said what she said, when if it was new and progressive, if she felt slighted in any way, I could totally understand why she would feel that way. But I kind of felt like maybe she kind of went against everything that she said. She said that her character was something new, something different that hadn't been shown on television before, and she kind of sounded like she was proud of that. And then she turns around, she talks about all these other things and about how she wants him, if it had more of a progressive kind of bent to it. And so I'm kind of like, that's a little bit contradicting when you really, really think about it. Because you say my character was unique and new, but then at the same time, you kind of want more of a feminist kind of like character. And I'm like, that wasn't who Scully was at that time. So why would you want her to be that now? And how receptive would fans be towards it? I feel like just let the past die. That's the only thing I learned from Star Wars. That's the sequel trilogy. That's the only thing I learned. Probably the best advice that you could get if you're a 90s fan. Let the past die. Don't let them destroy series that you once loved. Don't think that if they bring back the X Files, King of the Hill, Futurama, doesn't matter. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Don't think that because they're bringing back something that you loved that it's going to be the same. It's not. Completely different. Completely different. Take that Halo series for example. Halo's a good example of it because if it was made in 2015 compared to 2022, I guarantee you Master Chief would be at the forefront of that series. But he's not. And it's because we live in 2022. You can't have a white male as the lead in a lot of these shows. And that's not saying for or against or any of that. That's just the state of Hollywood right now. And that's a shame. It feels kind of racist to me. I don't feel like race or sex or any of that should really matter when it comes to lead characters. Like I said, if she feels slighted because David Duchovny had to, walked in front of her, then hey, change that in the future if she does come back in that character. But at the same time, you got to remember that David Duchovny was the face of that franchise. He truly was. It was him that drew in the fans. He was a bigger actor at that time. I would say still, even to this day, he's a bigger actor. So I mean, he's going to be the person that draws in people. So therefore, I feel like first dibs go to that person that brings in the fans. But that's just me. My take isn't progressive. It's just reality based in a lot of different ways. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think down below. Would y'all be open to an X Files reunion? Are you kind of glad that maybe Anderson maybe closed the door on this franchise? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content here on Rants, please like, subscribe, and leave that comment down below. And also check us out on Minds and Rumble as well. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.